Okay, so girls, today we are going to discuss some things that are food related. And then we're going to identify how those self-sabotage patterns that we discovered in our last call are actually showing up in this process. Okay, so you can be really aware of it. And Khadija, I'm not sure if this is your second time to do this topic, but even if it is, good, because repetition is the mother of all learning. Were you there Wednesday night with our Aussie group?
I was there for like 10 minutes, but I didn't,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, great. Well, I'm glad you made it here today. Well done. Okay, so we're going to cover some stuff around meal prep, just give you some tips, figure out ways to make it easier. Remember, the entire purpose of this is to create sustainability. Okay, we don't want to have to quit our jobs and become full-time chefs. We want to figure out, how am I going to make this sustainable, which means easy, yummy, quick. Yeah, if it's not those things, it ain't convenient. It ain't sustainable. So there are three main ways to meal prep, and we're going to go into them. But first, I want to share with you. Yeah.
We see the presenter view, and well, I'm on my phone, so I can't see the words. It's too small for me. But I'm sure if you're on your computer, you could probably read it.
Can anyone else having trouble seeing?
I'm on a computer, so it's fine for me.
Okay, well, I will read everything that's important out loud, Morgan, so that you can write it down. But the first thing I want to cover when it comes to meal prep is there are two ways we can use pH 360. Okay, remember, first of all, pH 360, you've answered all these questions. Hopefully you've updated your measurements and everything as of recent, within the last 4 weeks. And it's taking continuous snapshots of where your body is at. And it's going, okay, you're in need of these nutrients. Let's have more of these food. And these foods, let's try where we can to avoid them. There are things in here that your body is not responding well to or has too much of right now, and it's always giving you very personalized advice. So there's two ways that we can use pH 360. One way is to just use the food list. And this is good for people who just want to be creative in the kitchen. They have a background in cooking, or they enjoy cooking. They like getting fancy or artsy and experimenting. If that's you, I want you to just go to your food list. Actually, let me share screen with you and do that, because I know visual is very important. Excuse everything else that's on the screen, girls. Okay, pH 360. All right. So you can go to your food list. This is my food list. And if you favorited things in the past, which I would have highly recommended you do, you simply come here to the filter and you go vegetables. And you can even filter for favorite vegetables. Apply filter. And I go, okay, great. Let me look at the top 5 or 5 excellent ingredients that I like from each category. Great. These are the 5 veggies I'm working with this week. Lentils, Brussels sprouts, garlic, spinach, broccoli. Those are the veggies I'm working with. Or maybe if there's something specific, I might go in and look for it, be like potato. Okay, potato's good. Still in the green. That means it still has something my body's needing. Yeah, so I might be like, great, I'm going to add potato as one of my vegetables, even though it's a starchy vegetable. And I'll go down to fruit. All right, show me my favorite fruits. Great, these are the 5 fruits I'm working with this week. I can do fruit salads. I can just eat the piece of fruit. I can juice it. Yeah, I can bake the apple. Get as creative as you want. So that's one option. And that's what I prefer, because I'm not one for recipes and following instructions. I just like to go in. Great, these are the veggies and meats I'm working with. And I'll just make something very basic. Okay, I'm not a chef. in any way, shape, or form, which is why I know this can work for anyone, because I suck at cooking. Okay, for me, cooking is like chop everything, throw it in a pot, throw some random spices, and close your eyes and say a prayer and hope it turns out okay. All right, or it's open a can of beans, get a chicken that's already made from Coles, and open up a packet of salad. Okay, that's what I call cooking. Okay, if I cook something fancy, it's like once a month. Okay, and it's because my mom's coming to spend the weekend. Yeah, so keep it simple. If I had to spend more than 20 minutes a day cooking, I would just be eating bread too. Okay, that's the honest answer. Just be reaching for bread and Vegemite. You guys might not know what Vegemite is. Peanut butter, let's say. Okay, so one way to do it is to go through and just note, great, what are the foods that my body's really needing right now? What are the ones that I like? Let me make a list. Boom, there's my shopping list, done. I'm just going to work with these ingredients. I know they're all excellent for me. The other way to do it is to use the weekly meal planner. Go through, actually select recipes, paying attention to the meal prep time. I always go for things that are under 20 minutes. If it takes 30 minutes or more, I know it's a meal that I'm going to be making in bulk, like to last me 3 days. I'm not cooking something different every day. No way. Okay. So you can use these recipes. And if you are using recipes, I'm going to recommend pick things that look really familiar, like really easy, things that you're used to eating, and just one different recipe a week. Okay? Please don't have a bunch of different recipes and meals that you've never tried before, that like the prep time and the entire cooking process looks complicated. All right? It's going to take up too much of your time. If you want to experiment with new recipes, one new recipe a week. And do come in here and have a look, even if you want to just use a shopping list, come in and just look at the pictures because you'll get some good ideas for things. Like the bunless burger, for example, was one that I heard a client say yesterday. Wow, what a great idea. Yeah, or like sun choy bao. Anybody know what sun choy bao is? Khadija? No, Morgan and Bushra? No, okay.
Yeah.
Sun choy bao is like, it's a Chinese dish, some sort of Asian influenced dish. And it's pretty much like mince with, I don't know, like spring onion. And then they put it into a lettuce leaf. And you roll it in lettuce and you just eat it like that. Okay. So do come in and have a look because you'll get some great ideas. But please, like, this is a breakfast recipe. First of all, I would look at this and be like, that's too many ingredients. And I just pick like 5 ingredients. Okay, or pick the main ones. I go carrot, onion, Brussels sprouts. Yeah, I just look at the core things that are in there. Be like, great, I got the idea. And I'll go do it myself. Yeah, if you want to read instructions, you can. Personally, for me, that would turn me off. I would not even start. Anybody turned off just looking at all these words? Yeah, this is already overwhelming for me. I'm not going to do it. So that's another thing. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. So if that means breakfast needs to be like instant oatmeal or like a poached egg or something really simple, make it really simple. Okay. Yogurt and berries. Where you can, pick the simple things, including for snacks. Okay. Pick the simple things like dark chocolate and almonds. Easy. But I have to bake? No, I'm not doing it. So please work with your personality, okay, in terms of figuring out what's going to work best for you. And you can try a mixture of both. You can try one recipe for the week from here and otherwise just go from the shopping list. Make sense? Great. There's one more thing I want to show you girls here, which is in food list. Anybody a vegetarian or anybody have an ingredient they don't like? Yeah, put it in the chat. What is it?
Well, I can't eat mangoes.
Okay, mangoes. All right, great. So if you go into your food list, there's this little button here. There it is, Morgan. Can you see it? This button. It's a settings button. If you click on that, you can go to foods I don't like, and you can pop in whatever it is you like, or whatever it is you don't want to see. Okay, so for example, mangoes. Yep, I don't like mango. I don't want any mango juice. I don't want any mango sauce. Yeah. And what that will do is it will get rid of the recipes that have that ingredient in there. Maybe you are a vegetarian and you don't want to be looking at pictures of meat while you look for vegetarian stuff. So you come in and you go animal protein, meat, poultry, fish, and eggs, for example. I don't want to see dishes with this stuff in there, and you select that. Okay, and that will just filter your recipes so that that ingredient isn't in there. The other thing you can do is, again, you can find a recipe that you like, and if it has mango, you can come in here, check your fruit, your favorite fruits, and replace it with something else. Okay, so we want to be flexible. We want to use the tools in the way that are going to serve us. Okay, we don't want to be too rigid with following recipes or having a new recipe for every single meal. Just, again, focus on making things sustainable. Sustainability is what we're going for. So in terms of the 3 ways that we can meal prep, there is batch cooking, which is when we cook in bulk. So again, if I see a recipe is going to take me more than 30 minutes, I'm going to cook multiple portions of that. Stews, anything that's cooked, go ahead and freeze it. Please don't put salads in the freezer, especially not cucumber. It's gross. So with things that are cooked, especially dinners, if you're a diplomat or a guardian, and dinners for you should be like stews and soups, things that are really easy to digest, which I'm pretty sure all of you girls here are guardians and diplomats. That sort of stuff is really easy to cook for like 5 days and freeze half of it. You can pull it out of the freezer on a Wednesday night to get you through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, that's if you want to have the same meal every night. If you like routine, go with routine. If you're making something that's fresh, like a big salad, please make sure to put paper towels at the bottom of the container that you're going to put it in. Yeah, do we know what paper towels are in the US? Do we call them the same thing? Yeah, paper towels. So if you're making a big salad, don't put the dressing on until you're ready to eat it. If you can separate things like tomatoes and cucumbers from the leaves, do that as well. And when you store it in Tupperware, make sure to put paper towels at the bottom to absorb all the moisture so it doesn't get soggy. So only do batch cooking if you're somebody who's okay with eating frozen food. And I don't mean straight out of the freezer, clearly. But if you're somebody who likes everything fresh and you won't eat something that was made, 2 days ago, then don't do the batch cooking. Okay, again, work with yourself. I don't want you gagging when you're pulling out meals from the freezer. The second option is individually portioned meals. So this is where you're not going to be cooking one meal to last for X number of days. You're cooking different types of meals. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I last week made a big, like a kilo, like 2 pounds worth of turkey mince with onion and some random spices that I threw in there. And then I used that turkey mince all week. One day I threw it on salad. One day I mixed it with some veggies, like in a stir fry. One day I put it in a low carb wrap. And then I hit repeat for the second half of the week. I had half of that meat in the freezer, which is kind of like a mixture of batch cooking and individually portioned meals. So me having one stable ingredient and changing what it's going with is one way that you can do individually portioned meals. Another way you can do it is you can have the same base. So in this picture here, it's like cauliflower rice, for example. That might be the base. But for you, it may be like your 5 veggies. All right, potato, asparagus, carrot, and onion are my base for every meal. But my protein is going to change. One day I'll have a can of black beans. One day I'll have some salmon. One day I'll have some chicken. And you cook the different proteins, but the veggies are all the same. Make sense? Girls, is this making sense? Beautiful. Okay. The last way is prepping ingredients, okay? If you're somebody who likes everything fresh, stick with this option. So what prepped ingredients means is that when you come home from the grocery shop, you're not just gonna pack the sweet potato and the pumpkin and all the veggies away. You're gonna chop them up first, so that when you're ready to eat, they're ready to just be put in the oven or thrown in the pan. Anybody else like ever walk into a kitchen and they bought all these groceries and they just see all the veggies and they're just like, I'm so not motivated to do anything with these? Yeah. And then they go off, right? Yeah. So one, make it fun, play some music, and just do it all at once. If I'm buying sweet potato, as soon as I walk through the door and empty all the bags, the sweet potato is getting chopped up into wedges and it's going into a Tupperware container. Or the eggplant is getting chopped up, going in a separate container. And then when I'm ready to eat, it's just a matter of turning the oven on, putting them on a tray, and then I go have a shower, come down, and it's ready. So again, we need to remove the obstacles between where we are and where we want to go. So if we want to meal prep, but the obstacles are, it takes too much time, or I still have to cut the veggies. Like if I finish work at 7 p.m. and I go into my kitchen, I still have to cut the sweet potato. I'm not having the sweet potato. It's not happening. Okay? So we need to remove that obstacle. If that's an obstacle, but I still have to chop it, well, then let me chop everything all at once in one go. Let me spend half an hour doing it and it's done. So for the veggies, you want to chop everything up, store them separately if you can. And then for the meats, if you're getting chicken or anything like that, again, I will put it all in Tupperware and marinate everything at once. In fact, let me show you what I marinate things with, because this is super easy. I hope you guys have this sort of stuff in the States. Do you guys have these? Like these squeezy bottles of marinade? I have garlic.
It's not marinade. Usually it's like herbs. Yeah, like the herbs, pre-processed.
Sorry?
Yeah, like usually it's like garlic or cilantro or dill, or you can buy those like herbs.
Yeah. So I just go with the very basic stuff. I get garlic and chili. Sometimes I'll get like Italian herbs, and it's really just squeeze it on, rub it a bit, cover it like in Tupperware container and leave it in the fridge. So again, when I'm ready to eat after a long day, when I have no energy and I can't be bothered cutting anything, it's just a matter of putting it in the oven or putting the piece of chicken on the pan and turning it over once. If it's any more complicated than that, I'm not going to do it. I know myself really well now, and I know which obstacles or roadblocks I need to remove for myself to make this smooth. Okay, so that's your job in this journey, is to get to know yourself really well. One, what do I enjoy? And when I say what do you enjoy, I mean like in terms of what foods do I like? Do I like crunchy food? Do I like soft food, gooey food? What kind of ingredients do I like? Do I like meal prepping where everything is just cut up and ready to go? Or do I prefer to just cook once on a Sunday and maybe once on a Wednesday and then I'm done? Get to know yourself and work with yourself in your lifestyle. So those are the 3 ways of prepping. Now, some basic tips. Obviously, you need some Tupperware containers, okay? I think Tupperware is Tupperware a brand? Okay, you just need containers, okay? Any brand you want is fine. Now, if you're starting new, or if you've fallen off the wagon, you're trying to get back on the wagon, please just choose one meal that you're really going to focus on. If all your meals are all over the place, just pick one meal. You know what? I'm just going to get my dinners right. And focus in on that first. Keep it simple. Start with things that you usually eat. And work on that one meal. Once you feel you've got a consistency with that meal, then move on to the next one. Okay, great. My breakfasts are fine. Let me work on my snacks. And as you go through each meal that you're having, so if you're a guardian, you have 3 eating windows, 3 meals, breakfast optional. If you're a diplomat, breakfast also optional, but you have 2 meals and a snack. So for each of those, I want you to have like at least 5 recipes. 5 recipes that are like, yep, this is easy, this is convenient, this is yummy. If you can just get to 5 is even a lot, to be honest. Maybe I'm just really boring. I have like 3 different breakfasts, 3 different lunches, and then dinner is a bit varied, but the structure is pretty much the same. Yeah, veggies, protein, and some sort of fat. So focus on one meal at a time to get right. Once you got it right, move on to the next one. The third thing you need to do is, if you're going to meal prep, whether that's chopping up or cooking in batch or prepping individual meals for the week, pick a day to do it, a consistent day. I've learned over the years to make it my Sunday afternoon, to play some Whitney Houston music or something I enjoy singing to in the background, and I make it me time. I make it enjoyable. Nobody's allowed to bother me. It's me time. You can speak to me when I'm done. So make it enjoyable and pick the day. So you may be cooking on a Sunday, and then you may need to cook something small on the Wednesday night to get you through Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Or you can do what I do, which is if I cook on Sunday, it's going to last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday, I'm doing really basic stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, can of beans, packet of salad, avocado, done. Yeah, no actual cooking. Microwavable rice with a can of tuna and packet of salad. Done. Yeah, that's what I do towards the end of the week. And then I have my refeed meal, which is usually pizza or a kebab or a snack pack. If anybody knows what that is. Khadija, you know what that is. And then once you've picked your days, then you got to experiment. Yeah, you may pick your days and be like, yeah, I'm going to cook Sunday for the whole week. And then at the end of that week, you're like, actually, the meal was kind of gross on Friday. I really didn't enjoy it. You might say, okay, great. Let me try meal prepping Sunday and Wednesday. You're going to have to keep trying and tweaking to figure out what's going to work best for you. Am I just going to prep everything and spend 20 minutes a night cooking my dinner and making the same thing for lunch the next day? Which is another tip. If you're cooking in the evenings, cook for lunch the next day. Okay, you might add some carbs to it. If you're not having carbs in the evening, you might prepare some carbs for lunch the next day to go with it. So again, step by step by step. We need to bridge the gap from where we are to the ideal. Morgan's been in this program for a while. Takes a while, right? Set those foundations, get the new habits in place, see it consistently working, and not once was it ever, starting tomorrow, I'm changing everything in my life. Yeah, because we know that's being the hyperachiever, that's being the perfectionist. And those are patterns of self-sabotage. So we need to look at, this is my current reality. Oh, this is my current reality over here. This is my desired reality where I want to go. So for example, right now I'm eating just whatever the hell I want. I feel horrible. Over here is I want to be eating 3 meals and a snack a day and feeling really in control and just have a good system in place. So the food is always ready to go when I'm hungry. I'm never famished. But we got to bridge the gap. So we got to figure out, great, what's the first step? Right? Like, let me do the genetic test first. Okay, great. Let me sort out my time first. When am I doing what? Great. Let me do my meal prep and let me attempt just breakfast this week. Done? Well done to me. Now let me try to get snacks done. Because if you say, I'm going to get all my meals right, when you're coming off of none of your meals being right, for example, you may still get breakfast right for the week, but you're going to beat yourself up. You're not going to give yourself any credit because you said that you need to do it all. So we need to bridge the gap and understand that the fastest way to get anywhere is slowly. Yeah, you rush, it falls apart. The example I like to use is building a house. So you might see this beautiful picture over here of this lovely house. Oops. But you're not just going to go outside and start laying bricks. You could, but it's going to topple over. There's some planning that needs to be done. All right? Some planning. Getting a vision in your mind. So this is like doing your meal prep, getting ready. Okay, what am I eating? What am I going to be doing? When am I coming to the group calls? Let me lay out a plan. Great, I've laid out the plan. Good. Now look at this. There's all these different steps. There's 9 different steps before the house looks like a house. In fact, before it starts to look like a house, it looks worse than just the empty plot of land because we had to dig some foundations. It looked worse before it started looking better. So think of setting the foundations as all these things that you're doing now. You're identifying, great, what are my self-sabotage patterns? What are the roadblocks? Where is it that I slip? And getting clarity on all of that, setting the foundations. And then you can start laying the bricks one at a time. And again, it's not going to look like the house that you want right away, but just keep laying the bricks, okay? Each meal is a brick. Each day is a brick. Each workout is a brick. You're just laying the bricks until it looks like you want it to look. So when it comes to getting consistent progress, because remember, we're focused on progress, not perfection. Sometimes the progress is showing on the scale. Sometimes it's just showing in change of behavior, change of energy, change of mindset. But I used to do this when I was in my weight loss journey because I had this realization after a very long time that my breakfast and like lunch every day was like perfect. I had no problem having a good breakfast and a good lunch. In fact, it was good. Monday through to Sunday, my breakfasts were good. My lunches were good. Monday through to Friday, not so much Saturday, Sunday. And yet each week I would wake up, or each Sunday I would wake up and meal prep like my lunches for the week and put all my focus on getting breakfast right, when really my focus needed to be on my dinners. Really my focus needed to be on the weekend. So has anybody ever studied for an exam before and they've just like spent too much time reviewing shit they already know? And then they run out of time to study the stuff they don't know? Yeah. And we do that because, well, we feel good when we review stuff that we know. So we spend more time there instead of focusing on the stuff that we don't know. So it's the same thing in this journey. If your breakfasts are good, stop putting so much focus into breakfast. So when I started doing this, and please ignore the ticks, I couldn't figure out how to remove them. So ignore the ticks. But as you can see, I put here Monday through to Sunday. And on the side, I listed 3 meals, 3 snacks, just to cover every different health type. But for you, if you're a guardian and it's just breakfast, lunch, dinner, then you can just have breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay, 3 ticks per day. So when I started doing this, what I realized was, like, all this up here was fine. All this was fine. It was over here, really dinners from Thursday onwards were horrible. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday lunches were horrible. So everything was fine. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would come in the evening and I'd binge. And then Friday, I'd do the same. And then Saturday, I might do the same in the afternoon. And then Sunday, I might do the same again. Just binge. And so I had to recognize that, okay, there's something about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What is it? And for me, it's that I associated that with chilling. Thursday night in Australia, that's late night shopping. Thursday. Everyone's out, everyone's chilling on Thursday night. It's pretty much the weekend. So Thursday, I just chill. And for me, chilling meant Seinfeld and food. And after years and years of trying to lose weight and being kind of stuck at this plateau, I had to recognize that, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are not my problem. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday that I keep undoing the work. And I wake up every Monday the same way as the Monday before. And I was like, how long am I going to keep doing this? And so I figured, well, if I'm maintaining my weight every week doing this, then surely if I can just fix Thursday night dinners, then I'll see a shift. So all my focus went to Thursday night. Started paying attention. What's going on? I'm bored. Great. What am I doing the other nights? Oh, well, I actually have a good routine the other nights. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should throw a bath into my Thursday night. Maybe I should be going for a walk. Maybe I should limit TV to half an hour and then go do something that's more relaxing, that does not involve the screen. I even tried knitting. You're going to laugh. I even tried knitting because at first I was like, oh, I just need to keep my hands busy in front of the telly. That's all I need to do. And I tried knitting. Did not work. Still end up going for food. And then I was like, okay, so it's not that my hands need to be busy. I was like, is it the couch and TV combo? Let me turn off the TV, see what happens. Yeah. So it's all these different things, okay, until I figured out for me how I can enjoy Thursday night without waking up Friday hating myself or beating myself up. And once I fixed Thursdays, I saw a little shift in my weight and I got excited. Oh shit, what if I fix up Saturday lunch? Oh my God, what would happen there? I was like, great, what's the next easiest thing for me to focus on? Probably Saturday lunch. Friday night, I find it hard to believe I'm not going to have a pizza Friday night. Thursday, okay, yeah, I can work on that. Saturday lunch, okay, that seems like the next easiest bit. Let me focus on that. Okay, until I got over months and months to a stage where now it's like Friday night, I'll have my pizza, I'll have the kebab. Saturday, I have a few glasses of wine. And yes, my weight's up on the Sunday, but by Tuesday, I'm back to normal. Yeah. So I understand my body now. I know that if I jump on the scale on a Sunday and I'm up 700 grams or a kilo, that's fine. If I'm up 1.5 kilos, then I'm like, I kind of overdid it. Maybe I didn't need that ice cream after the pizza. Make sense? So use this system, okay, to give yourself clarity. Okay, this is going to be your assignment this week. Throw it out. If you're going good, tick it off. Yeah, breakfast was perfect. Lunch, perfect. Dinner Monday, perfect. Wednesday, don't know what the fuck happened. Wednesday, fall off the fucking wagon. Thursday was a disaster. Friday, tried to get back on track. I did for breakfast and lunch, but dinner was also a disaster. Spilled into Saturday. Great. Now I know where to focus. Let me pay attention what's happening over here. Make sense? Yes. So progress over perfection. There is a solution for every problem. Our job is to identify where is the problem and what is the real problem. Yeah? And then implement the solution. There is no problem on the face of this planet that does not have a solution. Okay, are we clear on that? Any questions?
No questions, but just a comment. I would say do this for at least 4 weeks. Don't try to make any conclusions after just 1 week of tracking. I think at minimum, if you do this for at minimum 4 weeks, you'll be able to really see the patterns. And if you're trying to adjust to while you do the 4 weeks, take a second to see what was hard and what was easy, because that'll help you identify what was sustainable. Like hard stuff, oof, I don't know if I like the Friday night, like, oh, I don't know if I can have, that's why Fridays are my, refeed days, because Fridays are tough. It's a mental thing.
Yeah, good. I love that. Take it from Morgan. She's in the program for a while. She's getting excellent results. How many kilos do you have left now? Like 3, 4? What is it?
Oh, definitely not. No, I got really sick and I was 64 kilos out of like unhealthiness. And then now I'm up to 67. So we have a lot to talk about, but it's tough. It's like, it ebbs and flows.
Yeah. How much is the total weight loss so far, Morgan?
A total, where are we at? 13 kilos, 14,
Yeah.
78, yeah.
Yeah. And you can see her before after pictures. I've been throwing them in everywhere, really, if you want to. Not that she's done. We're booking her photo shoot for like January or Feb for her final photo shoot. But she was doing great. And then like plateaued for the longest time. And then she came back and she was like, what the fuck am I doing? She's like, why?
I was doing exactly what you said.
Which is?
Where you're only looking at the stuff you're good at. And you're like, why am I not doing what I want to do? I'm doing all the good stuff. And then you never look at your problems because you're like, well, I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Why am I not losing weight? It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah. And then she got back on track, got refocused, and then started coming down again. Okay. So please understand, in your journey, no one ever comes into this program and is like, bang, 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 the whole way through. Okay. Some people start strong and then fall on their face and then pick up again. Some people take forever to pick up, and then it's smooth sailing. So just go at your own journey. Okay. But yeah, Morgan's advice was perfection. Look for the trend. So yeah, do it over 4 weeks. And again, I want to reshare this with you girls because I can't express to you how helpful this is to complete this every week. Okay. It takes like 10 minutes, but clarity precedes action. If you don't know what you're doing, you ain't going to do it. It's not going to magically happen. So once you figure out what you need to work on over here, please complete your weekly success plan. So if it's Thursday night, like I mentioned, like, okay, great. What's the belief? Oh, Thursday night is chill time, and chill equals food. That was my belief that was causing that behavior. Great. What's a new belief I need to have? Thursday night is like my divine feminine energy night. I go for a massage, I go for a walk, I have a bath. And you go, great, what's a situation that's causing stress in my life right now that I need to address? There may be something, there may not be something. And then great, what's a tweak that I'm making with food? Okay, I'm going to meal prep on a Wednesday night. Or I'm going to go to Kohl's and get one of the meal prepped meals from Kohl's. Yeah, as a backup. At least that will be better than having burger and fries. Bushra, do you have a question? Or did you press hands up by accident?
No, I actually wanted to mention that, after I spoke to you last time, and I realized that the reason why I was kind of like, keep falling on my face, because I was meal prepping for 5 days, and I'm so used to eating fresh food that I'm not able to take the food that is 2 days old. So what I started doing was that every 2 days later, I would meal prep. And the meal prep would be basically really quick. It would take not more than 20 to 25 minutes. You probably have seen me work in the kitchen. I had to make dinner for my kids. And I was meal prepping, but my meal prep didn't take much time. But most definitely, it took me from where I was very demotivated to more motivated. So
Mm.
right now, what I'm eating is very healthy. And as I'm listening to your conversation, it's like, it's adding, the nutritions are adding into it. So I'm just like really happy that the progress is coming, and it's not on my, not the numbers on my weight, but actually I see it in my, when I'm wearing pants and I kind of like feel it all over my body. So I
Yeah.
still do not, I do not get demotivated. If I see that my numbers aren't going down, why aren't they going down? Sometimes I'm very bloated. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes it's a monthly thing. So I basically kind of like keep telling myself that you're doing great. It's going to take time, but it's not going to happen in one day. So you do what you need to do. And that's why when we have our weekly calls, I kind of share all my concerns with you, which helps a lot because I save it. I save everything, and I said I'm going to talk to Marlene about it. So that also helped. The weekly calls definitely helps. So I just wanted to let you know that it's actually for all the ladies out there who are also struggling. I know that this is a real-time struggle, and it's not just one person. It's basically every woman.
Amen.
But we're trying to lead our lives in every way we can. And this is one of the best things we're doing to ourselves. We're loving ourselves unconditionally before we love other people. This is very important for us.
Yeah, and putting those self-love practices in place. And like, again, like the number on the scale inevitably will change over time, but as a result of all the self-love. Yeah, so you just got to stay committed to that. Yeah, and again, jump on the calls because there might be things that we need to tweak to see that number shift. Yeah. Okay, well done. And thank you for, again, working with yourself and, not making yourself eat food that you don't enjoy. It's important.
Marlene, I had a quick question back to like the tracking slides and identifying patterns. So before I like joined this weight loss program, I spent a lot of time like focusing on food and what the issues were, and tracking and reflecting and counting calories, and like I did a lot of this. And actually I would say this is another win, but over the weekend, usually my weekends were like my sore point because I would go out a lot and inevitably eat things that weren't great for me. So but this time I focused on other things. Like you say, I'll focus on like why you're there, or like just hang out with friends and stuff. So I felt like this weekend just went by really quickly and I didn't really think of food. It was just like quick decisions I just made on the spot. So I noticed like if I put less focus on food, then it's like easier for me to incorporate it. And
Yeah.
like I just think it on the spot. So I'm not sure if like this seems great, but do you think it's something that I should be doing at this point? Or
I think like there's lots of different tools that I give you girls in this program. Some of them are going to be great for you, and some of them you're going to be like, not so great.
okay, because this actually like scares me a little bit, because I don't want to like put too much like mental like effort into thinking.
Yeah, we definitely want to avoid the obsession. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said like you did really well, like not thinking so much about the food. And I've seen this with lots of clients as well. Like when the focus comes off of the weight and the focus just goes onto, let me just enjoy my life and like treat myself well and feed myself well and enjoy the company that I have around me, that everything starts moving in the right direction. But as long as there's this obsession over, I got to make the right decisions and I can't make any mistakes and the number has to go down every time I jump on the scale, then like we're actually actively acting as resistance to ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, find what works for you. So I'm glad that you recognize, like, looking at this made you feel a bit overwhelmed or like not good emotionally about it. So go with what makes you feel good. And I just want you to be really aware of and write down what works. So at the back of your notebook for the program, if I haven't told you already, go to the back, count 5 pages, and then write what works. And every time you're like, oh shit, that really worked. Like, just focusing on actually socializing, connecting, and speaking with the people there rather than the food, that worked. And then you write it down. Okay, so that by the end of this, you got pages of things that are going to seem like second nature to you by then, but things that work. Okay, because we don't want to be reinventing the wheel. If something works, notice it, write it down, repeat.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so before we finish the call, I wanted to go over the different self-sabotage patterns, which we went through last time, and you girls identified your top 3. In fact, if you can pop your top 3 into the chat, if you remember them, that would be great. So I wanted to go over today how they're going to show up in this journey. So the avoider, remember the avoider is the one that avoids conflict, you know, says yes when they actually want to say no, who doesn't speak up because they're too afraid to make anybody feel bad or to rock the boat. And so they'd rather stay quiet than speak up. So in this journey, if you're an avoider, you might notice that you are shying away from booking a call with me when things aren't going well. Like, you disappear when things aren't going well. You might tell yourself, oh, when I start losing weight, I'll book in a call with Marlene. Or I'll wait till I get some results to have a call with Marlene. So if you're an avoider, I want to remind you that, first of all, there's never any judgment here. And that you, oh, thank you, Khadija, you're an avoider. You joined this program to get the support in those difficult times. Yeah, that's why you joined this program, to get the support and the help in the difficult times. So when things are difficult, if you're not seeing results, rather than beating yourself up or telling yourself, I don't want to say anything, that's exactly when I want you to reach out. So I wrote an affirmation here for you. I give Marlene opportunity to know what's not working so she can help. Yeah, I give Marlene opportunity to know what's not working so she can help. If I don't know, you kind of leave me powerless. Yeah. So if you're struggling, tell me. If something in the program sucks, tell me. Okay. You're actually going to help me make my program better. So don't ever feel bad. Okay. Okay. We don't have any hypervigilance here, so I'm going to skip that one. Hyper rational. Okay, I'm gonna review this one because this very much ties into the program. Because remember, most people will address the weight loss just very rationally. Oh, calories in, calories out. That's all that matters. They'll say, let's just crunch the numbers. And this journey is about balancing the logical and the emotional, the masculine and the feminine. You need the balance to actually get there. You can't get there if you're skewed to just one side. You can't get there if it's all emotion without focusing on food and exercise. And you can't get there just focusing on food and exercise without addressing the emotions. So the hyper rational person will tell themselves, I don't want to deal with this emotional stuff. That's a waste of time. I just need to get my food right and exercise right. Okay, so if you feel a bit of resistance to kind of opening Pandora's box, okay, just remember that you're in Pandora's box and we need to open it to get you out. And it's okay if some garbage and shit comes out too. We're going to work through it all. Okay, but it is just as important as getting the food and exercise right. Okay. The stickler and the hyperachiever are very similar. Okay. In fact, let me go to So the stickler is like the perfectionist. I have to do everything perfect. Stickler wakes up and goes, starting tomorrow, the stickler and the hyperachiever both wake up and go, starting today, I'm going to do everything perfect. The food, the exercise, the video library, the group calls, I'm just going to do everything perfect. And if they don't, they beat themselves up because they base their self-worth on how much they achieve outside of themselves all the time. So in this journey, if you're a hyperachiever or if you're a stickler, what you'll find is like a perfectionist is you'll beat yourself up very quickly for the tiniest of things. Like everything might be perfect, but you might have a slice of toast with one of your meals. You'd be like, oh, I ruined it. I had a slice of toast, right? It's just a slice of toast, okay? Progress, not perfection. So you'll likely go into self-sabotage, yeah? So if you're a hyperachiever and you even hit your goal, you jump on the scale and the weight's gone down, your excitement will be very short-lived because you're a hyperachiever. You're focused on the next goal now. Yeah, you told yourself, I want to lose a kilo this week, and then you lost it, and you're like, okay, great. Well, I guess I don't need to beat myself up, but now I need to lose another 5 kilos, right? And the focus is always on the next goal. And it's like the goal just keeps moving further and further away. You set a goal, you achieve the goal, but then you're like, no, it's still not good enough. Now I need to achieve this. Now I need to achieve that. No, still not good enough. That's why I popped that picture there of that person reaching for the trophy. Like no matter what they do, they can just never be number one. It's never good enough. Yeah. So if you notice that you are seeing results, be it in your habits or in your weight, but you're not celebrating, and I don't mean celebrating with food, I mean, you're not giving yourself credit, then we need to slow down and remember where focus goes, energy flows. If I focus on, wow, this is working, I'll find more things that work. And again, we may have to tweak the conversation because maybe the conversation you have is, yay, it's working. I can have that donut now. Yeah. So we got to pay attention to that. These are all patterns of self-sabotage. Okay. Then we had the pleaser. The pleaser. Pleaser is also known as a person who often says yes when they really want to say no. Anybody in this category, I'm going to put my hand right up because this was made for a long time, still working on it. Yeah. So I've learned to say, let me think about it. Because in the past, it was always yes, 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 yes. And I'd be like, why did I say yes? I don't actually want to do that. I don't actually want to help them with this thing. I'm fucking busy. Why did I say yes? Now I got to do it. Right? And again, because my worth was based on how others view me. I wanted everybody to think that it was really helpful and really nice and really giving and really generous, right? And so again, my self-worth was based on external factors. I felt like I had to please everyone to prove that I'm a good person. And so how this will show up is you never have time for you. Or you make plans to meal prep or go to the gym, and then it never happens because you said yes to other people and they took over your day and your schedule. Okay, so be aware. If you find yourself always saying, I never have time, there's never time for me, chances are you've fallen into this trap where you're doing, saying yes, yes, yes to everyone else, and you keep coming last. All right, the other one, the victim. Okay, this is a really important one. A very, very important one. And to some extent, we all fall into this category. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be in this program. Okay? And I gotta tell you, I had massive issues in this area. So I realized at some point, like late in my life as well, like probably in my early 30s, I had this realization that I was addicted to drama. That if I was in a relationship that was really peaceful, that I felt like something was wrong. And that I almost needed like things to not be okay for me to feel like things were normal. Does that make sense? I noticed that even within my relationships, when I wasn't getting the attention that I wanted, that I would make a problem out of something. Does that make sense? Or let myself get really sad so I can get some nurturing and some love and some care from somebody so I can feel noticed. So I realized that I was in this habit, or I had this belief that I didn't deserve attention or care unless I was suffering. So I let myself get to a stage where I'm suffering, thinking that, well, maybe if I suffer, people will care. And I did this after my divorce. I was a massive victim. Took me a while to realize it, but I was really angry. I was like, he fucked my life. It's like, I'm a single mom now. You ruined my life. And I sat in those negative feelings for a very long time. And I actively watched myself make my life difficult just to prove that my ex ruined my life. So if victim came up as one of your top 3, you'll find that you often get stuck with really disempowering stories and emotions. You get really caught up with them in your mind. It's like it's on autopilot, and you find it really hard to snap out of it. So the analogy I want to give you is with a fire truck. You know, a fire truck goes by, it's really loud when it has its sirens on. So the fire truck with its sirens on are sort of like our emotions. So if you're driving on the highway and there's a fire truck behind you that's coming at you really fast, you can try to speed up and stay ahead of it, but all you'll feel is panic. Shit, it's right behind me, it's right behind me, there's so much noise. You can try to keep up with it, run away from it. But really what you need to do is to pull aside and just watch it go by. And that's what we want to do with our emotions, with those difficult emotions. You're going to hear yourself telling yourself some horrible stories. No one loves me. Everybody thinks that I'm a loser. Everybody thinks that I'm this and that. I used to be so good. Why am I such a failure now? You'll hear those stories in your head. Yeah. And at first you'll see yourself really believing them. But what we're practicing here is becoming the observer of those thoughts. Hearing the stories we're telling ourselves. And listening to the story like a scientist, like a fly on the wall. Just observing, not associating with it, not identifying with it. Just being like, oh, that's interesting. I've heard myself say many interesting things over the years that shocked me. One of them was, you don't deserve to enjoy sunshine. I heard that saying. I heard myself say that to myself in my head one day. On a Sunday, I was working my ass off and I broke down in tears because all I wanted to do was go out and enjoy spring. And Sunday was almost finished and Monday was coming around the corner and I hadn't even taken my son out once all weekend because I was working like the hyperachiever. And then I broke down on the floor in sobs and I heard myself say in my head, you don't deserve to enjoy sunshine. And I was like, WTF. I was like, that's horrible. Whereas in the past, I would have been like, I don't deserve to enjoy sunshine. I heard it. And you know what I did? I closed my computer and I picked up my son and we went out into the sun. And it's been something I've done ever since that day. I go out and enjoy the sun every day. I was like, that's bullshit. That's abuse. I'm not saying that to myself anymore. And every day I go enjoy sunshine, even for 10 minutes. So the victim over-identifies with low vibration emotions. So you'll find yourself jumping on calls with me and wanting to tell me everything that's going wrong. And when I want to give you a solution or help you come up with a solution, you'll go back to complaining about how difficult it is. Yeah. If you catch yourself doing that, remember, this is a pattern of self-sabotage. It's that belief that I need to be suffering to get attention. You will get my attention and my love and my support, whether you're suffering or not, baby. Okay. Even on your best of days, you need me, I will be there. Okay. And the people who love you will be there in the good times and the bad times. Okay. And sometimes the people that love us get sick and tired of our freaking negativity because we've been stuck in being a victim for so long. Yeah. And we think that we want them to think better of us, but really, I just need to think better of me. And then they will reflect that back. Make sense? Okay. Any questions? Or comments? Any questions or comments?
Not from me.
Right. Did anything stick out to you as, yep, this is something I need to pay attention to?
Yeah, I think the last point about being victim, I think I need to put my more like focus on that, because I recognized that I was avoiding like a call with you. So as soon as you said that, I was like, shit, this is like happening. So I booked it in straight away. Yeah, so I just need to get better at like learn like my patterns and stuff.
Yeah, precisely. One step at a time. Early on, it's really just about creating awareness. Yeah, what do I say? What do I do that leads to this? Okay.
Yeah. And what you said about like victim affecting a relationship, like, man, I feel that sometimes, because like I feel like, well, my husband like wants to do things, but I'm like, no, sit with me, like I want attention. And I just like, that's kind of annoying. But yeah, that's what I understand him, so I just don't want to be like that.
I hear you. I hear you. I realized this with my mom, because my mom always sits with me and complains. And then I realized that like when mom would call, I'd have this emotion before I even answer of like, oh shit. And so I recognized that's how I felt with my mom, because she'd always talk about everything that's going wrong. And then I realized, wait a minute, I'm doing the same thing. And so I started like paying more attention to how I over dramatize or how I catastrophize situations, right? When really like everything's not that bad, you know? Yeah.
I also think like if it was the same thing was happening to someone else, like how would I react to that? And like sometimes it's like the exact same thing and I'm giving the most amazing advice, but when it happens to me, I'm just like, this is the worst. Like, so I just try to like separate myself and be a bit more mature. I'm like a bit older now. I should be like a bit mature about like everyone has problems, like you're not special or anything. So
Yeah. In fact, problems are the only constant in life.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're doing a great job. Just focus on one thing at a time, keep tweaking, you know, not just with food, but internally as well. And yeah, by the end of this journey, what I love seeing is girls who are like, my whole life has changed. I'm a different person, not just my body. I'm a different person.
Yeah. I think you gave a thumbs up because I was doing this.
Ah, all good, all good. All right, my beautiful queens. Well, it looks like we finished with 14 minutes to spare. So I'm going to let you beautiful queens go. Please do look at your success plan for the week. Yeah, just to help you refocus on what your major focus is for the week. And also remember next week, I'm not going to be available for one-on-one calls because I'm going to be in Bali for a wedding. So Mel's calendar is open. So go onto the dashboard, click on Mel, book a call with Mel, and book a call in with Mel, our head coach. Yeah.
Is that for 1 week?
Just 1 week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be back next Saturday. So I leave this Sunday and I'm back Saturday, like 6 a.m. Yeah. All right. Well, girls, enjoy the beautiful week ahead. Orcha, did you have a question?
Sorry, I just had one quick question, just because I'm new to the program. But when exactly are we supposed to put in our measurements and like weigh ourselves and update pH 360?
Yeah, so I recommend update pH 360 every 4 weeks with your measurements. And you don't need to measure your head or the length of your foot again. Just do the main bits like your chest, your rib cage, your waist, your hips, your bum, your thighs, just like those 6 measurements. And what was the other question? Oh, the progress reflection sheet, when to fill that out and do your weight.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So I would do it the morning of the day that I'm having my refeed. So if I'm having my refeed on a Friday night, I'm going to do it on a Friday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, weigh in before my refeed and do the progress reflection sheet then.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, my queens. Well, let's go out there, enjoy our beautiful days and our beautiful lives and our beautiful bodies and our minds that we are learning how to use instead of be victim to them. And I will see all your beautiful faces on the other side. Bye, girls.